Okay, okay, I get it.
So yeah, I'm kind of new. Yeah.
Do not worry. So I want to presume that you don't know much about that tool,
Okay.
the tool, even though you know much. So just let me begin. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
So also, if at any point you can get me, because I know my English is not perfect, please you
Okay.
just interrupt me and let me know, because sometimes I tend to speak very fast. I'm very wrong.
Okay.
So just let
Okay.
me know.
That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
You know, this is a screen that is more important than the finance, the finance statements, no?
Mm-hmm.
So this helps you at the beginning to identify where the main opportunities for the company, no? So this is pretty obvious. Right now, you need to reduce volumes and penalties. But actually, reduce volume and penalties just will help you to obtain a positive ROI, which is good, but for competition level, it's not enough. So you have to attain like higher levels of ROI. So actually, just improving the bonus and penalties, it is not much of a difficulty or effort. So, but let me begin with this point, because this is crucial. Okay, so you can see that everyone is generating penalties, no? So what is the thing about penalties? The thing is that when you promise,
Yes.
you cannot attain, they penalize you. But there is also another thing. If you promise a service level, no, and you attain more, they will pay you bonuses. But
Okay.
the bonuses they pay you are not in the same magnitude of the amount you will receive if you will have guessed better the service level you can obtain. So it is always a better outcome actually to match your promises. So if you promise, for example, a service level of 97, it is always better to obtain a 97, because if you obtain a 98, this 1% you obtain it, you will have like bonuses for that extra 1%, but that 1%, that bonuses doesn't match if you would like promise 98. So it is actually better to hit the number. So that is why very important to be able to predict the game in order to perform.
Yeah. So you really want to nail that, huh? So if you do a 97 and you end up doing a 98 or a 96,
Yes,
yeah,
okay,
it's
it is
not as good
good.
as a 97 and
Actually,
even the 98. Go ahead.
yes, it is always better to have bonuses than
Yeah.
penalties, but it is much better to hit the number.
Yeah. So even a
Okay.
97 is maybe preferable than a 98.
Yes, yes, normally. Okay, so this is I'm going to show you how to identify the opportunities to address why we're not getting this number, no? So normally I start with supply chain just to identify the problems, no? For example, if we go to this report, this report of the products, you can see the service levels that you have attained in the past round, no? For example, at order line levels, I will get back to this in a moment. You can see that besides the orange presentations, for example, orange 1 liter and orange pet, they have like very good service levels, but the other ones, mango and vitamin C, that are very low, no? Besides it, this one is actually
Oh
is.
yeah, and they're 80s and 86. Yeah, 86 is, yeah, that's not good.
So when you see this kind of behavior, it's telling you something, because it is related probably with the component, no? Because if every orange, just orange, it is good, and you see, for example, that a mango presentation is not performing well, okay, this is like a hint, but actually you can address better and try to figure it out. So there are like several problems or causes that may generate a low service level. The first one, and normally the last one to check, is that your safety stocks of products, it is not set. So you have set it in a low position, so you cannot actually fulfill the variation of demand. So maybe you need to do that. But leave that for the end. It is better to check first if your supply chain is performing well. So another option is that maybe the manufacturing process, the bottling lines and the mixer are not performing well because they don't have enough capacity. So you need
so
to
where do you
check.
look for that? Where do you look
Yes,
for that?
yes, we need to check that. And the last thing normally you have to check is the components. Maybe you're having problems with supplying of components. So you have to check. I want to show you how to check each one, no?
Okay,
For example, let me move my face. You can see another KPI here, production plant adherence, no? You can see that actually it is pretty good in orange 1 liter. It is fair, and 84 is fair actually for this, but 70 less than 80 actually it is bad, no? So probably there is a problem with this presentation, with this C power, and you can see that the same thing happened with this. So I have a hypothesis right now. You can see that both items have a vitamin C component. So probably we have a problem with the supplying of vitamin C.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but we need to verify this. I'm going to show you in a moment how to verify that. No, but also you can see, okay, it is not that high with mango. No, you can see that mango it is not that high here as well. So maybe we have another problem with mango as well. You know, but there is a good thing. The fact that the orange product it is good, it is 90%. It tells you that it is very likely that your actually manufacturing process has a good capacity. So the problem is not manufacturing, it is supply. So, but let's now move into the manufacturing just to check. Let's go to operations. Okay. Let's now go to this report missing and blurring. So you go over here.
We're in operations now.
Yes. So, for example, you can see that like the average production plant here is 85%, which is not bad. Actually, it's pretty fair. Close to 900 is actually good. This is fair, no?
Close to what? Close to what?
To 900.
Oh, 90%?
Yes, 90%, sorry. Yes. Okay. So you can see here that actually the universal capacity is quite high, which is both good and bad. It is good in the sense that you have plenty of capacity, so you won't fail to produce on time. But the bad thing is that maybe you're leaving money in the table. But that we can address that later. So actually, the capacity is good. So let me explain to you how you assess the capacity. Okay. This has three concepts. Runtime, that is the time that you use to produce goods, only to produce. Then you have the changeover time, that's the time you spend setting new products. And breakdown time is for failures. So if you sum these three concepts, it's going to show you the requirement you need for your process. For example, if we sum this 70 plus 10 plus 10, we have 90 hours. So 90 hours.
90 hours,
90 hours is our requirement. And since we had in the past round 3 shifts counts for 120 hours. So 90 over 120, actually it is a good level of gap, no? So you have plenty of left capacity, which is good at this point. So we can discard the hypothesis that the manufacturing process is failing. It is not. It is actually.
Where's the 3 shifts? Where's the 3 shifts at?
Okay, so let me get back. If you go here, actually, no. Let me go to decision log, and if you go to the round 0, you can see past decisions. And for example, you can see that yes, the number of shifts is 3. Was 3.
Yep.
Okay. So now we're sure that our manufacturing process is doing good. Now we need to move on to the other suspect, no, which are the components. We open in supply chain the component report, and this is a crucial KPI, component availability. You can see that in the case of pack and PET, actually it's pretty good, close to 100. In orange, it is fair, but it works, 96. But in vitamin C, you can see it's close to 90. So this is a problem.
Availability is below 90.
Yes. And also mango, it is also a big issue. So it is not a big issue, it is an issue, but vitamin C is a big issue. So what this means? That you have two options. Yes, so exactly, that's a constraint. So you need
Bottleneck.
you have two options, or you have two suspects. Either your supplier is failing a lot,
Hmm.
so maybe you need to change your supplier,
Yeah.
or maybe your policies, your safety stock for components are very low. So you need to verify that, no? Just let me make an example.
Safety stock, right? You said either suppliers not able to supply or safety stocks
Yes,
too low. Okay.
exactly. So let me show you how to assess that. If you go to this report in purchasing
Mm-hmm.
and go to supplier, you have, for example, the vitamin C. You have a bad relationship, which is not critical at this point of the game. But look, that reliability is actually pretty good. 92% is quite fair. So I wouldn't say that this is a problem. So your supplier actually is keeping their promises. So, but maybe it's a thing about safety stocks. But let me show you. An important key indicator of a level of safety stock required is the lead time. So, for example, in the vitamin C, is 45 days away. I don't know if you're aware, but in this game, a week counts for 5 days. So actually, if you have 40 days, 45 days, this accounts for 7 weeks. So this supply is 7 weeks away from you. So let's now find out what's the safety stock that we have been using.
That's a long lead time, right?
Yes. And you can see that we have only choose 2 weeks of safety stocks. So this is weird because 2 weeks for a scene that may take you to get at your consumption point 7 weeks, actually is pretty low. So the problem here with vitamin C is the safety stock, the safety stock is quite low.
Yes.
So there are two approaches to define a good level of safety stock. You can run a model and try to build. Actually, that's the thing I did with the spreadsheet I sent you. So I build models to actually make more precise estimations, but also you can use criteria, no? A comparison. For example, let me open a new window. Let's get back to the, okay, to the components report.
Okay, we're going here. Okay.
For example, which product is doing great? Either PAC, PET, or even Orange. So you need to actually look the relation between the lead time and their safety stocks. And maybe you can mimic or use that insight to replicate it with the vitamin C. For example, if you go to, oh, well, okay, we're in purchasing now. If you go to, look, this Orange. Okay, I'm going to show you the Orange first because this is actually a bad example of what I'm trying to show. But for example, the PET is 10 days, no? And 10 days accounts for 2 weeks, no? So in this case, for a product that is only 2 weeks away, you're 2 weeks of safety stock, and you're having like close to 100.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. Yes, probably you can improve a little, but the thing I want to show you is that the safety stock is actually close to the lead time, and it works. No? The other thing is here you can see Orange, no? It's 40 days, which is actually 6 weeks, and you have 2 weeks, no? And it works more or less. It is not that bad, but you have to account another thing. The volume that you purchase of Orange are very high, and as you know, if you have high volumes, demand variability tends to decrease. So this is a particular thing with Orange because Orange is a high volume product for your company. So in this case, it works because the demand variability of a high demand product it is low.
Variability, huh? Variability.
Yes, demand variability. So, but this is not the same case of vitamin C. Vitamin C it is a low volume product in your company. Actually, you just say like a few thousand of liters per round. So if you use the same strategy as with Orange, it wouldn't work. So I think that you have to approach. You have to get closer to the lead time. So another thing you need to consider, just let me show you in the finance.
It's really important, huh? Lead time's really important to factor in here.
It's very crucial for defining the purchasing seeds. You can see in this vitamin C, it is the less expensive component you have. So maybe you can, like at the beginning, try to play sure and actually increase, like, for example, from 2 to 6 to 5 weeks the safety stock. Maybe that approach is not optimal because you want to find the optimal level. Actually, you need to make the calculations. But I think it will work because it is closer to your lead time. And the fact that when you chose close to your lead time safety stock, it has been proven that works. It is a good start. So you can the lesson at this point is that you can use another product as a baseline comparison in order to define approximation of safety stocks. No, but the main thing is that you have to consider lead time and also the volume of the product, because the volume of the product tells you how big is the demand variation of that product. And if your product demand variation is higher, you will need higher safety stock levels.
So say that again. The higher. Okay, so let
me rephrase that. So if your product it is a low volume product.
Or the product, okay.
Yes, a product or a component, anything actually. So let's speak about components. If you have a low volume component, no, this means that its demand variation, no. So how much the demand varies over the time is actually pretty high. But when you have a high volume component, that demand variation or variability tends to be low. So that's why with Orange, which is a high volume component, it works a low safety stock, even though they have a higher lead time because of the high volume. But the same strategy doesn't work with vitamin C because vitamin C has low volumes.
Yeah.
So that's the important thing. So actually, this is pretty easy. If you right now.
But vitamin C is in everything, right? Is vitamin C in everything, even though it's lower?
No, it's not in everything. Vitamin C is only in 2 products. Let me show you.
Yeah.
It is only in 2 products, and actually are the low moving products. Let me show you. For example, you can see here, everyone that has a plus C, it contains vitamin C.
Okay.
So you can see this one contains a plus C. This one doesn't have a plus, but has a C power. Everyone that has a C, it contains vitamin C. So actually, you can see that both of these products are not like the ones with the higher volumes, no?
Yeah.
So another thing to figure it out what actually a product contains is going to the information page and go to this one. This is the bill of material, and you can see which one contains vitamin C, and you can see that these are the products. So that's a lot. So actually, if you want to obtain a positive ROI in this round, it is quite simple. You just need to increase the safety stock of vitamin C maybe from 2 to 5 weeks. And in the case of mango, maybe from 2 to 3 weeks. And that's it. And I will assure you that you will have a positive outcome.
Nice. So you really got the where to focus the leverage point. The leverage point.
So
that's very good for ROI.
Yeah. So just doing those 2 things will eliminate the penalties.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I just want to show you. But right now, since you have the role of sales, let me explain the role itself.
Yeah.
But it is important to think like start from this approach, from the macro, from seeing that the whole picture of the company, and then trying
Yeah.
to figure out what is working well, bad. And then when you have solved the big problems, then you need to focus everyone in their own role in order to try to improve the performance. No.
Okay, so what we did was you took me through that process of thinking of how to, you know, with fresh connections here of, okay, and we're in round zero, right? Round zero or round one?
Yes.
Round one. Okay.
Yes,
So
we're about to run round one.
yeah,
So
and
let's now
there you go.
begin with the sales. You know, there is like an order to tackle the game. First, to define your strategy. For example, you already did. You have chosen a responsiveness strategy, which is, I think, this is the best for this game because you have a they like giving you extra volume if you perform better. So actually,
Yeah, I really like this. Gustavo, let me say something. So I really like this. So kind of I like you know how this approach you've done here, because you know for theory of constraints, often you look at what is the goal. You ask that question, what is the goal? ROI, you know, and then
yes,
you kind of things is define the system, understand the system,
yes,
and in order to do that, you're not just focusing on one role. You're looking at all these different roles to
yes,
see
yes.
kind of what's going on, and you're going through that. Can you explain briefly what you did with me on that? You just kind of went through and you started with, did you start with the sales role and then kind of go through the other areas, or how did you come up with,
Okay,
you
no,
know,
you first start with a finance statement, no, with the money.
start a finance statement? Okay.
Yes, you go here, and if you see a big negative, it is
Uh-huh.
actually a bad thing. Well, it depends where is it, no? But if this negative tells you, okay, this is something wrong, no?
That's where, okay, so that's good. So you go to the finance statement and you see, what in here, you know, is something that, you know, keeps me from the goal or blocks me or is an obstacle or looks like, you know, is something to focus on, you know?
Exactly. But then, for example, for round two, for sure you will have everything like at least working. So you will not have negative. But at that point, you need to start focusing in the bigger numbers. For example, imagine that the penalties are doing great. We have no penalties.
Mhm.
And, and maybe we can start focusing in the bigger number. Okay, which other number is bigger? Is
Mhm.
big. Okay, purchase value is big. So it
Mhm.
did mean that you need to focus in purchasing in order to try to purchase cheaper, no? So that's a
Mhm.
big opportunity, no? Then you,
Opportunity, yeah.
yes, then you go to the next big number. Which is the next big number? Production cost.
Mhm.
Production cost is all about manufacturing, the shift, the machine you have chosen. So you
Mhm.
have to try to optimize that role, no?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
once you have optimized that statement in the financial statement, no,
Mhm.
that this
Mhm.
line, you move to the next one. For example, which is the next one? Okay, overhead costs. What depends overhead costs? Energy consumption and water. You analyze, you can do much about that. And if you do, you try to improve that number. And
Mhm.
once you finish, you move to the next big number. So that the thing is that the financial statement gives you where the big problems are, but also tells you where are the big opportunities, and gives
Yeah.
you an order to tackle the problems. No, because for example, if you focus from the beginning in the handling cost, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter much because you have much bigger numbers to approach
Mhm.
first.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
this gives you like the order. So once you are very sure that you have optimized your purchasing and your manufacturing, at this point you can move to the other aspect of your business.
Yeah, I
So,
like that because you've got, you know, if you look across the, you know, these different roles, purchasing, operations, sales, supply chain, and then you've got finance here, you know, and so that's what ties all these things together, right?
exactly,
Is the
yeah.
finance.
So this is the first step. The second step, if you have a big problem, is to try to find the root cause. No, so you have
Can I ask you one more question here?
yes,
So when you look at the finance, Gustavo. I also see, you know, that the green thing right next to finance and this global thing.
Okay.
Is that something important to look at too?
Actually,
Kind of external factors.
you know, this is one of the discussion I had with Chuck. But this is a good thing you have asked, and it is important. Let me explain you right now about this. This thing is a tool called the production interval tool.
Okay.
This thing works to estimate the capacity, the use of your capacity in your body line. You know, this tool, in your case, since your cell, you don't have to use this. Actually, this is a problem of the manufacturing guy, but still, this is not accurate.
Okay.
And they warn in the game about this. They tell you that this is just a rough approximation. So actually, if your operations guy is pretty neat about MRP or CRP systems,
Yeah.
really confident that he can define a better model. That's actually what I did. So my model is like 100% accurate, close to 100. And this
did you use this, or did you create it outside of this using other things?
It doesn't work for me. If you want, in a competition level, if you want to obtain a big ROI, this thing doesn't work. Maybe for educational level, it will work. But if you are in a supply chain course, I will encourage the students to generate their own MRP systems.
This wouldn't be really a rough cut capacity, you know,
yes.
kind of a.
It is better than nothing, but it is very rough. It may be like it has a very low estimation of what actually happens.
Maybe look at it initially, but not, you know, make it be, you know, it's just one of many things and not the ultimate, you know.
Maybe I will give you a rule of thumb about this. If the number you obtain from this tool, for example, this total time utilization, 73, yes, I will multiply it by 20, I will add it 25%, and I will use that number. If I don't know how to build an MRP process, I will, this 73, I will multiply by 1.25, and just to show you, 73, 91, okay? And let me show you my model, just to let you know how accurate this rule of thumb it is. Okay, it's open source. It is not that. Oh, no, actually, it is open. Yes, my model, I don't know if you can see the number, but, okay, where is it? Oh, no, sorry. The thing is that I'm using another thing. So I need to update my spreadsheet. But it is like a good approximation. So maybe just using like an extra 20%, 25. It depends actually in your obsolete levels. If you have like high obsolete levels, you may want to use like a high number, maybe 25. But if your obsolete levels are low, between less than 5%, for example, maybe just 50% is enough. But still, if you can do it, you can use another tool. It is better that.
And so, do you have another tool? Or you have to create it because you have.
Yes, I created my own tool. Actually, this spreadsheet I have shown you, I'm showing you. This is all the game. So by this spreadsheet, I have all the decisions of the game in the spreadsheet, and it generates me a financial statement automatically. Oh, sorry, your audio went wrong.
What's that?
Sorry, your audio went wrong. I cannot hear you very well.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like breaking up a little bit.
Yes, probably it's going to get better. It happens normally with this thing. Okay, but I was explaining this spreadsheet for me is like I have all the game in this spreadsheet. So when I put my decisions in this spreadsheet, automatically generates me an estimation of ROI. So actually, I can that's the thing I use to optimize my play. But this is like this took me like I'm not lying, hundreds of hours to figure it out how it works again.
Mhm.
So this is maybe actually I send you this spreadsheet. If you have the time, maybe you can
Yeah, if you would.
you can immerse in the spreadsheet. And if you have any doubt, just let me know. I very much open to explain you all
Send
the
it to me,
details.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
this
send it
is
to
like,
me.
but this is like several steps from this point. So do not focus yet to doing this, because this will demand you, I told you, like hundreds of hours. But maybe just making the MRP system for estimating the utilization of the boarding line, it will take you like few hours. It is not that hard.
Oh, okay.
So
Uh-huh.
I know if you're not an expert in that particular field, for sure, anyone else, any other in the group it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So okay, let's get back here. And the other thing
Okay.
is this globe, no? And this is actually the challenge for this round.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's the thing here? This is the risk model. The
Yeah.
risk model, it tells you the some like disruptions that may happen during the round, and it tells you how it will affect you. No, for example,
Yeah.
since you are in the U.S., in Miami, in Florida, no, you have hurricanes. No,
Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
here if you click over the figure of the hurricane, you can see that this is expected once every 4th year. So during a yes, so during a year you have or during a round you have a 12.5% chance of occurrence. Yeah,
Oh man.
so this is a good thing. So if you click here in the information button of the hurricane, you can see this indicator, TTR. TTR is the time to recover. What it means, if your supplier, it is based here, no, and it occurs a hurricane, it will close their business from between 3 and 10 weeks, which
Wow.
is actually nightmare. If that happened to you, you're going to fail for sure during that round.
Wow.
So what's the challenge here? That okay, there are two approaches here. The first approach is to play safe. What it means,
Yeah.
choose suppliers that are not in danger areas. No, for example,
Uh-huh.
if I choose a supplier, I don't know, from Australia, if there is one, this place is safe. But you know, the thing is
Yeah.
that in most cases, this is not possible. For example, a safe zone here, it is China. But normally, the problem with China suppliers in
Mhm.
this game is that are not that reliable. They tend to fail. But you can choose that approach.
Yeah.
It is not bad, because
Okay.
you can actually like cover for those failures with higher safety stock levels. Yeah. And the other approach is actually okay. This Miami supplier is
Multiple
amazing.
supplier. Multiple supplier.
Yes, exactly. So the other
Yeah.
approach is to, okay, this supplier in Miami is excellent. I want to use it. So I have to take measures in order to react to these problems. One
Yeah.
approach for this idea is to have a secondary supplier, which
Yeah.
is very expensive because it costs you 20,000 euros per round.
Mm-hmm. So you have to be you're very selective of how you pick, who's going to be that second supplier.
But you have to account another thing, no? That supplier will respond to you according
Mm-hmm.
with its lead time. So, for example, if
According
you
to what?
in according with its lead time.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for example, if you have a supplier here in the US, it takes you like 45 days to arrive to Netherlands, and you choose another
Mm.
one that is, for example, in South America, and this guy takes you 40 days to get to your place. It won't,
Mm.
40 days actually is 8 weeks. And from the moment that this guy is about to reach your place, maybe the other one already recovered. So if you choose as a dual source, try to choose the second one closer to you. In
Yeah.
order, so that's a thing you need to take consider. Another,
Also, you're risking the fresh, right? It becomes, spoiled after, a certain time.
this game is very tricky because maybe it's not that realistic because the pulp, the orange pulp, in your
Oh,
warehouse lasts for 52 weeks. So
okay.
actually, it is quite impossible to have obsoletes with components.
I see. I see.
Like a terrible play to obtain that. I have so sometimes that thing, but it's very unlikely. So,
Now,
but
now, 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 does the freshness start once you purchase, or does it start when it's mixed?
you have two different freshness. The freshness of the component start when you purchase it and last
Uh-huh.
52 weeks, and then
Uh-huh.
you have the freshness of the product, which lasts like 20 weeks.
Okay, when it's mixed, after it's mixed.
Yes, so exactly. So
Okay.
you have to assume that once you mix everything, it
Yep.
resets.
You've only got so much time.
Yes,
20 week, 20-week countdown. No,
yes,
did you
exactly.
say 20 weeks? 20-week countdown, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh, 20 weeks? 20-week countdown after you mix it?
Yes,
Okay.
but you have to remember something, that you're promising certain percentage of freshness to your customer. So actually, in your supply chain, you don't have all the 20 weeks for you. So you cannot deliver a product that has only 1 week of freshness less.
Mm.
You have a shelf life promise to your customer.
Mm-hmm.
So normally in your supply chain, you only have like few weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, no more than that.
Yeah, because you want that others to ensure that you
Yes.
that's part of
Actually,
meeting the customer's expectations or the service level, right?
exactly, yes. You have to actually provide a product that is fresh and is
Mm-hmm.
going to maintain fresh for several weeks for your customers.
And that's what you negotiate.
Yes, exactly. We're going to get to that point once we
Okay,
finish to the risk model.
this is
So
good.
in this risk model, besides dual sourcing, remember, if you choose dual sourcing, try to pick a close to your place supplier. But another approach actually is to maybe increase your safety stock levels.
Mm-hmm.
For example, no? Okay, for covering for a TTR that varies from 3 to 10 weeks, actually it is quite dangerous to try to increase the service level, the safety stock, sorry, because you will need maybe to increase in order to be 100% sure, maybe from 2 weeks or 3 to 8, which is so much and it's very costly, no? But it is an option. Another option is actually to measure how bad these risks are, because every risk is not the same. For
Mm-hmm.
example, a hurricane, it takes to recover between 3 to 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see these pirates. You have
Mm.
pirates in this coast of Africa.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that much. It only increased your lead time in 50%.
Mm.
Not much, because if you just increase maybe a week of safety stock, it is enough.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe an option is to choose the supplier that is good enough and it is in a place that does not present much risk. For example, suppliers in this course,
Mm-hmm.
this is actually a very low risk.
Okay.
A flood is pretty much risk, is very risk. An earthquake as well. Fruit disease. Fruit disease is the worst.
Oh, yeah.
If you choose some supplier from this coast of Africa,
Quality.
happens something, you're going to be screwed. So it is
Yeah.
actually, this is telling you to not go over here.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
strike is very low, just 1 week. So
Mm-hmm.
actually, this is this is pretty safe. So, but you need to consider something, no?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe if you account for risk, this one of the strikes and parrots are the lower, no?
Mm-hmm.
They have like much higher frequencies. For example, this is actually not that much. This is similar like hurricanes, but you can see with the parrots, it occurs once a year.
Mm-hmm.
But since it is very low about the impact of the risk, I would say it doesn't matter. You can choose a supplier freely in this point and just increase maybe a week of safety stock and you're well covered.
Okay.
And
Okay.
another tip, this is a tip from experience, not from the game.
Yeah.
Once a risk have occurred, it is very unlikely that will happen again during your game.
Yeah, yeah. So I like this. So, Gustavo, you really have to have a well thought out risk mitigation or a plan. And how you're going to consider all these different potential risk and then come up with some kind of analysis and maybe weight the risk, and then kind of proceed to kind of assess and put percentages or cost next to them or lead time, kind of like that, and then how that's going to translate to the overall, KPIs, right? What KPIs would you consider here that are important?
Okay, for here to assess the risk, the frequency of the risk, how frequent it is, the impact itself, no? And also you have to account this. These are colored, no? When it's colored, you have a line here, no? When it is red, it means that it have occurred, but the trend remains.
Yep.
But actually, this is a thought or an insight from experience. Once a risk have occurred, it won't happen again during the game.
Yeah. Okay.
I have played like maybe like 5 times with this risk module, and never a risk happened 2 times. Okay, so just take into account. So if you already no. This is a half true. It wouldn't happen again unless for parents. Parents can happen several times.
Okay.
Just
so
parents.
Just factor them into the lead time.
Sorry?
You factor that risk into the lead time. You add an extra week or so?
Yes, just an extra week. Yes. And also another thing you have to remember, if you choose a dual source, make sure that your secondary supplier is close to your place.
Yeah.
Because it is actually like very far away, it wouldn't help at all.
Yep. That makes sense.
Okay, let's now move into the sales, into your role.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, this is the thing I was explaining you before. You start with a strategy. You really choose responsiveness. Responsiveness means, it depends what you think it means. Someone may think that responsiveness it is hitting a high service level. But also, actually, it means fulfilling the best you can the requirements of your customers. So I want to explain to you why I mean by that. No, I mean by that.
You really need to understand the customer, right? You really need to understand.
That's crucial. That's another thing I discussed with Chuck. The worst thing you can do in life, in general, is treat everyone the same. Maybe just people, but in a company, it is a big mistake. You cannot treat the same customers. You cannot treat the same suppliers. You cannot treat the same processes because always something or someone is more important. So you need to segmentate and realize which one is better and what that particular one cares the most in order to be able to satisfy it better. No?
And that's what, when we first met, I was talking about the Pareto, and kind of a 80-20 or ABC, type thing. you know? And
Yes.
so I think that does apply.
Yes, actually, that's a good tool. Yes.
Mhm.
So, for example, and okay, once you define the strategy, the next thing to do is to convert that strategy into agreement for your customers. So, for example, let's not negotiate with all round. Oh, just give me a minute. I'm going to close my door because it's very cold here.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, all right. Okay, so in this case, you can negotiate the service level, the shelf life, and the other things. Because I say the other things because these first two are the more critical. No, the service level is the percentage of how you fulfill on time and in full quantity an order. Okay, this is a half true because later in the game, you will have the option to change this criteria from order to order line or to quantity. But just understand it as a percentage of success about the deliveries. No? Then you have the shelf.
That's interesting. So right now, what I see is different than what I'm going to see later on, like order line or quantity.
Yes,
going to be
they're going to give you the option to select the logic to calculate the service level. Okay, I wouldn't assure that. It depends actually on how they have planned the models. Okay, but it may happen. No, so the second important KPI is shelf life. Shelf life is the percentage of your freshness you promise to your customer. For example, if you promise 75%, do you remember that our freshness is 20 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So 75% it means 15 weeks. So this means that you cannot, you only have to supply to your customers products that have a higher than 15 weeks freshness. So if you have a product that only have like 14 weeks of freshness, even though it is very good, it is good for consumption. In terms of sales, it is an obsolete. It doesn't work. You have to scrap that. So this is a big issue because if you select, for example, this number in 80%, this means that instead of 15 weeks, now you're promising how much? 16. No? So this means this increases the pressure over your supply chain. Increase the probability or the odds that you will have to generate obsoletes. And also reduces the chances at your game to have a high service level. Why? Because if you're going to have, for example, 80% of shelf life, in order to reduce the obsoletes, you will need to reduce the safety level stocks. So you need to reduce the inventory position in order to generate less obsoletes with a high shelf life. But the thing is, if you have a low safety stock, that will generate as well a low service level. So a high position in shelf life reduces the opportunity to obtain a high service level. The thing is that since this game awards the players that obtain a higher contract index, see, it's not only about service level. Actually, the one that obtain higher contract index are going to be rewarded with additional volume. So you have to be careful because maybe if you want to try to increase your contract index with just a shelf life, maybe you are damaging your supply chain and reducing the overall result. So that's why it is very okay. You have to play to set very fine tune your decisions here. No, okay. So what's the other thing? If you click here in info, you can see a short brief of how the customer behave. Okay, so for example, there are customers that like promotions, that other ones that are innovative and eager to collaborate with you. I other one that doesn't like to collaborate with you. So so they give you hints because you have here right now the option to set up some collaboration processes. For example, but if you choose a customer that that is not eager to collaborate with someone else,
not reliable or communication. Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
Actually, if you read all this brief, you will get the profile of the customers. So you will have enough information to decide which one to use high promotion with other one low, etc.
A, B, and C or something. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So another thing you have to realize is that the sensibility, the level of change in the response of the KPIs you use with the customer is not the same. Let me give you an example. Okay, let's move this back to 75%. Okay, let's make an example with this. I'm going to, okay, well, is it? Okay. I'm going to record some numbers here, yeah? For example, at 90, you can see that we are 97 and 75, right? With this customer. And this promise you a contract index of 1.048, right? Okay, so if I decrease this from 97 to 95, it's going to decrease the contract index to 1.02, this number. So the delta, the difference, is this number. Okay, we're going to do the same with another sub-customer to see how sensitive it is about the service level. For example, Honey? Ok, no lo pasa, yo lo saco un rato con la mano. Sí. No se mete, se cae ahí. Sí, no te preocupes. Sí, sí. Okay, you can see this other customer, it has a position of 1.56, and if you move it from 97 to 95, it's going to change to 1.071. See the difference? The response is slightly different. You can see that this second customer values more than the other one about service level. Yeah? This is actually a small difference, but in other cases it's very high. Let's now try the last one. Maybe the last one, it has a higher difference. Okay, this one, it has 1069. If you move it to 95, you know, this is interesting. This guy doesn't matter about service level.
Okay.
Just so the other ones, when you decrease 2 points in service level, they reduce their contract indexes with 2.5%, and the other one 2.75%. But this last only reduced it 1%. So what this is telling you is, this is telling you that this last guy doesn't care that much about service level. So this means that actually you can sacrifice this guy. You can promise this guy less in order to reduce the pressure in your supply chain, and it will help you that much. And if you do the same exercise with the shelf life, you will see the same. There are ones that value more shelf life and the other ones that not. So if you can sacrifice the ones that doesn't matter that much, you will obtain yet a high contract index with them, but without sacrificing that much in the money. But then you are making you are reducing the pressure in the supply chain, because if you have a low shelf life, for example, let's imagine I choose this with 70. Okay, this guy reduced me 3% with 70. It's from 75 to 70 to 70. And this first, from 70, wow, like 5%, much more. So that last guy take care less of those both KPI. So you can play with that. So the idea is actually to catch to the sensitivity of how each customer cares about these KPI, these promises. Okay. You have to try to play with this. So, for example, so you have found out, for example, that this guy doesn't care that much. Maybe this guy promising 70%, and these other two just keep in 75, and the overall result is going to be maybe a 72%, which is actually the pressure that your supply chain feels. But you have higher, but you keep higher contract indexes.
Very good, very good. So those are real, when you're looking at a scorecard or a dashboard, how you're gonna make your decisions. This is really important data. Business intelligence here.
Yes, actually, yes. You have the time to do it. No, if not, okay. This is a recommendation from experience. It is very hard to have high levels of service levels with 75% of shelf life. It is very hard. Okay, you can do it, but having like very high levels of obsoletes, which is not cost effective. So normally a good position with shelf life, an average position is about 72. A good position. So if you don't want to play or trying to figure it out, the sensibility of all the customers for this round, because maybe of time, just play safe and say everyone to 72. That will help you a lot to reduce obsoletes and will help you to increase the service levels.
Okay.
So
you get in trouble when it's higher.
Yes,
huh?
yes, but still, it is actually much better if you want to actually have like outstanding result to try to figure it out these sensitivities. Actually, this is the thing I plan to do today, because for my model, the only thing I need to finish it is that this sensitivity analysis. So that's the thing. Okay, so this is the main thing about negotiating with. Okay, let me tell you another thing.
Okay. Really quick. So you said about sensitivity analysis.
Okay, it is important to perform better, no, to obtain a higher levels of ROI.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the time to do it right now, because it is not that easy, you have to spend a lot of time just to try to figure it out, no?
Okay.
Okay. With shelf life, just play with 72 and aim for no less than 96% of service level for each customer. So I think that that's a play safe, assuming that you increase the safety stock of both mango and vitamin C, no? Because actually those two are your problems right now. And maybe just a little bit with the oranges to increase it from 96 to 98, for example. Maybe half a week or a full week, no more than that. So the other thing you have to negotiate here are the order lines, for example. And this is important in the sense that if you let your customer to promise you very late, for example, like this case at 10 p.m., 8 p.m., this will generate you a lot of peaks during the picking process. So you will need more people in your warehouse. Okay, actually, this is bad, but this is a thing you have to address. Okay, what is better? To obtain more money from your customer or spend in another guy in the warehouse? Sometimes it actually pays. Normally with the high volume customers, no? But you have to figure it out. It is not a single answer. And the funny thing is that here in the game, they tend to change the behavior of the entities. So for example, I have played this several times, but each time the entities behave different. So I have to address, to identify how they behave and not using my spreadsheet all the time, the same. I have to update my spreadsheet for every pool. So another thing you have to take into consideration is the trade unit. The trade unit, it is a problem for the process, for the picking process as well. If you choose a small trade unit, for example, box, this means that your picking process is going to be inefficient, no? Because you will have to imagine in a real warehouse, no? Instead of moving just full pallets, you have
not utilizing.
assembly the pallet that just remove one box. It is not efficient. But you have to account something. One thing is the thing that you promise, and the other thing that the thing that actually happens. For example, if I am a big customer that purchase you in big volumes, if you sell the item ordered from you in boxes, in reality, I wouldn't use that option because my volumes are so high that I always tend to order in pallets because my volumes are high. So actually, this guy all around that is the one that have the higher volumes, moving this from pallet to box or pallet layer, it is not a big issue because since the volumes are very high, you can be sure that they are not going to use that option. But if you do the same with a low volume player, for example, here I think it is Teco. No, I'm not that sure. If you choose box with them, it's going to be a problem because it's going
to do what? I do boxes with them.
Yes. So you can be sure about this if you go to the finance. Oh, wait. How do I move this? You go to okay, now I can move this again to the finance screen. You can see the levels, no? So this guy all around accounts for twice the other one. So this guy actually is the one that provides you more money. It is not the more profitable, probably. Probably the earning, the gain, the profitability you obtain in percentage is lower, but in volume is important. So maybe this guy that has high volumes, moving from pallet to pallet layer or even box is not a big issue. But for these other two, maybe moving from pallet to box is going to be a big issue because they tend to ask more for that. So you have to account that. So another thing you can negotiate for sales. Okay, let me go back. Okay, it is now. This is another important thing. The promotional pressure. Okay, this is a good hit, and you need to discuss it with the team. Do you remember that Chuck suggested to reduce one shift in the bottom line? Oh, I'm not sure it was Chuck, I can't recall. But the thing is that in the current settings, it is impossible. If you do that, it's going to be negative because your plan is not going to have enough capacity and your service level are going to be very low. Okay? But there is a thing, and you have to try to figure out this. If you reduce this promotional pressure from middle to none, for example, you have to see that impact. The price increased that much, very much. But another thing happens. The volumes you sell to this customer decrease. So maybe you're thinking, okay, this is bad because I'm selling less. Okay, but you have to account this. This guy is paying you more. So the profitability is naturally much better right now. And the other thing is that maybe this extra volume you are not selling right now may allow them to do one shift.
What's that?
Let me rephrase this. So since you are reducing the volume of the sales with this customer, this means that you have to produce less, right? Since you have to produce less, maybe under these conditions, when you promise, you give no promotional pressure, you can use one shift left as shock because you're reducing the volume of the production. but at the same time,
Mhm.
you're increasing the revenue because this guy is paying you more. So you have to take it to account this because one shift less accounts for 100,000 euros per round, which is a lot of money. So if you're able to reduce a shift by reducing the volume of production, actually it will be a good outcome. You need to try to figure out this. I think that this is a game changer, and this is and if this works, will differentiate that like the mainstream performers from the high performers.
Mm.
There is a lot of money in services.
This is real key, huh? This is a real key thing here.
Yes. You have another option to actually to try to figure it out for this. You have this option, complete assortment. What it means? It means that if you choose no, it will allow you to actually not sell a particular product to your customers. Let me show you. I'm going to cancel. I'm not making any change. Right now, we're fulfilling all the assortment to all your customers. So if you go to this place, category management, you can see that all these options are locked. I cannot change it. So for example, if I want to this guy not supplying this product, for example, I cannot select this. Okay. But if I go to agreements, negotiate, and choose no, you have to observe two things. Look the contract index. If I put calculate, look, it reduces 5% on the price. Which is a lot. Okay, but let's imagine we're going to do this. If we go to deal, and now we go to category management, now I can choose what to sell. So this is actually an option if you want to reduce volume. Okay? Okay, let me give you a hint here. This volume reduction, it is crucial when you're in an environment of high constraints. There are some games with a fresh connection when you start with a limit in the number of shifts you can use. Okay? Maybe they fit you to 2 shifts. So in that kind of games, this is a good option because you reduce dramatically the volume you need to produce. And actually, you make the supply chain work again. But I foresee that for this game, it is not.
Okay.
Actually, I just accounting for the things I'm seeing, probably in the next round, they're going to introduce new products. So you're going to
what?
Okay, do you get that?
No, say you're gonna what?
Oh, sorry, no, I was telling you that it is very likely that for the next round, they're going to introduce new products. So you will have even higher volumes.
Oh, reduce products.
Sorry?
Oh, reduce products?
Yes, new products. It is possible for round 2 or round 3.
New products.
Yes, or even new customers.
I got you.
Yes, sorry, the audio is very bad right now.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's improving a little bit. Okay, the other thing you have to account in the sales role is the order management option. This is very straightforward. So do not choose proportional or first come first serve. It is always better to choose customer priority. So if you select this and save, this will give you the option to select the preference in case of a shortage. So I see that you already did this. So actually, I agree with the decision you shared in the email. So if you think it is good, just follow that advice. But a thing to account in this kind, the logic behind this is the okay, you have several logics to use. A first logic could be like volumes. Okay, I'm going to fulfill the one that purchase more. Another logic is, okay, I'm going to fulfill the one that pays me, that gives me more revenue. Okay, they give me more ROI. That's another option. And another approach is to say, okay, I'm going to provide to the one that is more likely to be satisfied with the less product I have. And those normally are the low volumes. Because, for example, if you have only 10 pallets of a product left, and you receive 3 orders from all your suppliers, the high volume will ask you for 50. So this guy is going to be unsatisfied either way. The other guy, maybe the low volume, will ask you for 5. And this guy, probably, he will be satisfied with the 10 you have. So this is another approach. The thing is that it is not actually quite easy to assess which strategy is better. So that's why I don't have a major argument against the thing you have chosen, because actually I have not found a method to assess this very precise. But either way, the lesson here is it is better always to use customer priority. Always. This is a no-brainer. The other thing is category management. If you select the option to not provide the full assortment, you will have the option to modify this. You know, I think that you won't have to use this for this play. So do not focus that much in this.
Okay.
And this final thing is very important. And this is a thing you need to discuss with your group. Okay? Yeah. Because Chuck does not agree with the approach I share with you. But let me explain you why I think this is important. And let me ask you something. What's the objective of a forecast?
Well, hopefully you don't overdo it, you know, or you try and you know set it up so you can have something that is as less disruptive or inaccurate and put you in a situation where you can.
You just hit the target with the 2 things that are important. You first thought about over purchasing or over fulfilling your supply chain. So that thing is called bias. Yeah. If you have a bias forecast, it means that you're going to have the tendency to over forecast or under forecast, which is a problem because that's a problem. And the second thing is accuracy. So you want to be always close to the number, no? So the objective of forecasting is actually to hit the number. Okay, the idea that Chuck or Bob shared, it was okay. I'm going to over forecast in order to have more inventory in my chain. Actually, that will work. But the problem is that doing over forecasting will increase the volumes of inventories in all your chain and not in a controlled way. It is much better to try to hit the number in the forecast. Just try to hit the exact number, and then if you want to have higher inventories, increase your safety stocks. You have the safety stocks for components and for products. So you want a particular product to have more inventory to fulfill better the expectation of demand, increase the number, but do not miss the forecast.
Yeah. So it really, you know, the way you forecast and how, you know, you're able to keep in line with demand as much as possible. You reduce the opportunity cost that is limited when you if you don't over forecast right. So you really have to do that right so you can be agile and responsive and adjust, right? Because you don't have unlimited capacity, you don't have unlimited capital.
Exactly. And actually imagine this strategy in real life. If you're the supply chain planner and you always over forecast, you are transmitting that signal to your supply chain. And probably you won't tell the other one that you are over forecasting.
Mhm.
So if the same mindset it is inside the rest of the company, everyone else is going to over forecast. So at the end of the day, that company is going to be filled with inventory because everyone is over forecasting. So
Yeah.
the thing with planning and forecast is to be truthful. You have to be honest. This is the number I think is going to be it. Okay, I know over forecasting or under forecasting. This is just the number I'm planning to have. So I think that that's the spirit behind forecast and planning. So how to calculate the forecast? Okay, I'm going to show you how.
Okay.
I'm going to use my model to use this. You know, the sales you obtain in a given round is a combination of at least three things.
Mhm.
First, a base demand. Every product, if you don't choose, if you select no promotional pressure at all, and you don't have any affectation of the volume factor during the game, the volume factor is the word or the punishment that the game gives you for having either high or lower than the average contract index. No, so if you remove the effect of the volume factor and the promotions, you will have a baseline of demand. You know what's the funny thing? That this baseline does not change during the all rounds. It is constant. So actually, this game gives you an aggregate level constant demand. It doesn't change. Okay, day by day it changes. But if you aggregate the average, are the same in all around, the baseline. So when you're going to make a forecast, you need to first identify the baseline demand. How do you do this? For example, you can feed this spreadsheet, you already have it, no? You have the demand per week, no? And this demand, I subtracted the promotions and also the volume factor and obtaining the base demand, okay? It's just a arithmetic thing. It's just a thing of division. If you go to the spreadsheet I send you, you can inspect that and try to assess the numbers. Okay, let me just one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So then once you have this baseline, you have to go the other way. What it means? You have that baseline demand, yes? You have the intended promotion for this round, for the round you're going to start, and you put that assumptions, that the estimation of the increase of sales because of promotions, and also you have the information in your reports about the volume factor, no? So then you apply these factors to these base demands, and you will have the forecast for this round.
Okay.
Very simple. And then you divide the sum for each product demand and divide it, yes, by the past round demand, that is the sum of this. In my spreadsheet, is like this. And this is the expected increase from one round to another. As you can see, in my case, it's 0% because I have planned, actually I have planned, no, I have to figure it out. But so far, I plan to not make no changes in the demand. So either in promotion or volume factor or anything. So this means that my demand is going to be the same as before. So this means that my forecast is going to be 0. But for example, if I plan, in this case, to increase the promotions from medium to high, for example, this is going to be 7%. So my demand is going to increase in 1 or 2%. So I have to actually try to address that increase in this form. Just translate my forecast in this form.
Go back. Okay, in that form right there. Go back. No, the orange one. Sales. You said where I have to increase it.
Okay. For example, if I foresee, according with my spreadsheet, that this product is going to increase close to 5% of demand, I may click on this, and this automatically increase to 5%. you know, what's the problem with this? The problem is that this accepts only 5% increases or decreases. So, for example, if you have, like in this case, just 1 or close to 2% increases, actually it's better to leave it in 0. Because 5, it would be a higher error, no? But for example, instead of 7, this is 10. Demand is, in these cases, are close to 2. So for this product, for the pets, I just leave it in 0. But for the 1 liters that are close to 5%, I change it. So I will do this. 5%. And the other one's in 0.
Yeah, be kind of conservative in the beginning to see what happens if you're on or off or where you're at, and then you can kind of adjust.
You know, this simple forecast, if you leave it in 0 for this round, even you do changes in your strategy, it's not going to be a big issue. Okay, it's going to be actually very close to the result. But the thing, and you have to take care this into account. During the next rounds, they increase some products or new customers, the demand are going to increase dramatically, very high increases, maybe 200% increases. So if in that case you don't update your forecast, it is a total failure for the round. So when you have either an increase in products or in customer, you have to calculate the increase of demand in the forecast. It is crucial because if you don't do it, you will fail for sure. Okay, Richard, that's it with sales. Sorry for not continuing because actually I feel right now very tired. I'm going to do a little bit of exercise and then start with my day.
Okay.
But please, we have time. We still have 2 days to go. So if at that point you need some help or want something to share, just let me know. I think you have my number. For me, actually, it's better if you write to me by WhatsApp. So just feel free to write to my number. And if you don't have my number, I'm giving you my number right now. No. So, but if you prefer to use LinkedIn, it is good for me as well. And if you see that you need a call, let me know, and we can arrange that as well.
Yeah. And do you? So I'm not really active on WhatsApp. Is WhatsApp pretty good? Is that what you're saying?
No. It depends on you. I normally prefer WhatsApp because I all the time connected here with all my friends. But if you prefer LinkedIn or even Zoom, please, in LinkedIn, just feel free to write me anytime you want. And if you want to have a conversation, just write to me and we can share it.
Yeah. So in the next few days or so, if I need, would like to follow up, and we'll continue to talk. And so this will be great. I really appreciate it. This is great.
No,
very helpful.
I enjoy this. No, actually, it helps me a lot to be able to speak with other people during this time of quarantine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you get isolated like this, and so it really is refreshing. It's nice to connect with people and talk about these things. It's good. Good flow.
Okay.
Good flow.
Thank you
Thanks
very
so
much,
much,
Richard. Okay, so
yes.
I will share with you the conversation. Actually, I plan to upload it as it is in YouTube, so I will also send you the link as well.
Okay.
Please let me know if you need any more help.
Okay, and then the spreadsheet. You're gonna send me the spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, you have the spreadsheet. Please feel free to immerse into this. If you have any, let me warn you. Let me share again my screen. Yeah.
Okay. So you sent the email.
I have to be honest. They are part of the spreadsheet that are quite hard to understand because it involves like statistics. Okay, a lot of calculations, and also are hard to explain. It will take me. It depends on your background. if you are very good into statistics, it will be very easy. But if not, it will take me a while. So if you have any doubts about this part, this is my model for estimating the service level and the obsolete level according with the decisions. If you have doubts for this point, I wouldn't recommend you to spend time in this yet. Maybe during the last round when you are like, you have mastered all the topics of this game. Okay, this is like advancing, and it will take me a lot of time to explain to you if you're not like very much into the statistics. But if you're good in statistics, let me know. I will enjoy to try to explain this.
Yeah. So that's great. So you've already sent this to me?
Yes, you have it.
Email or?
No. Yes, you have it in email. But if you want, I can send you again. I can send you this file to LinkedIn. I will send you. I just attach in the file.
Okay.
Okay, man.
Thanks so much, Gustavo. Yes. Appreciate
Take care, and let's keep in touch.
Okay. You bet. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
You bet. Thank you.